Alright, guys, this is another session of GreenAnimate. I would be joined by my guest today. His name is Karan, and he has been involved in the process of creating a sustainable community in Himachal Pradesh. As usual, we would be talking about the same ideas on sustainability and sustainable development. So, give me a moment while I go ahead and add our guest to the session. So I'm adding our guest on the line. Kindly bear with me while I do.
Join. Hello.
Karan?
Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Ah, wonderful. Because I was
So,
wondering if you can hear me or not.
no, no, no. The sound is perfect. It's nice to see you after a long time, man.
Same, same. I mean, I keep seeing your post every now and then, and the videos you guys are making. But talking like this is like like a wonderful connection. No, it's like going back in the old days and feeling the connection. Like, yay, we are together
Yeah, man.
again.
Absolutely, man. Old time sakes, man. So we are not doing this the test anymore. Okay, so this is basically it. We will be starting from this point onwards since we are online already,
Okay.
and everything is working fine. So we'll take it up from here. So before again for guys who are watching this, Karan, he has been involved. He actually is an entrepreneur and he wants to create a sustainable community. That is his vision, to have a system or a group of people who are working together. And it is more like back to the basics, where it is all about people helping each other out instead of focusing on monetary benefits. And then that leads to the creation of a community, which is basically people living in the middle of nature. So, Karan, thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this show.
My
I
pleasure.
have I always wanted to talk to you about this thing, about what motivated you, to start off an initiative like that. So, if you could just let us know what motivates you towards sustainability. Why do you want to create a community which you feel would be sustainable and self-supporting?
It's okay. Let's go back in time. It's like going by the time machine now, where we all used to live in a community. When I was growing up, there was a big block, all the women sit together, all the men get together. There were no different families. You could eat anywhere. Every household was your household. Every uncle was your uncle, whether blood relation or no relation. Everybody knew you. Everybody loved each other. Everybody lived together. And I come from Delhi. And I started a community in Himachal, which was another thing altogether. But
Rasta.
if you see Delhi now, lots of things have changed. It's like crazy. Nobody knows nobody anymore. My neighbor doesn't know me, and I don't know him. We don't even speak. It's become like this. And mountains are still not that far yet, but they are getting there slowly, slowly. They want to be modernized. They want to have all the technology. They want to be like the city people. Have that attitude, have that sense of power, sense of belonging. So they're kind of losing the touch of living in a self-sustainable community, a community system and stuff like this. And I've been going to Himachal, Kalga, that village. I've envisioned lots of things. It's given me lots of dreams. It's shown me a beautiful world altogether through nature, through clouds, through fire. Everything, the stars. That place is like extremely beautiful. So also, I love agriculture a little bit. I don't do it personally, but I really would like to have the whole of India, be an organic land, and we eat only
Mhm.
organic food everywhere, and would be nice to support farmers or people who want to do something like this. So on and off, every time I was in Himachal, Kalga, I was talking to the local people about not letting their farmlands get polluted with the chemical fertilizers and stuff like this. And there is a lot of plastic that's been thrown out in these villages. And these people have a sense of connection, but it's just that in the growing time of competition and making money and who's got more money in the village, they're losing the aesthetics. So I was like, why not sit in there? It's easy to bring it back when the people haven't gone that far, on the road of being away from each other. And was always my dream to create something in that valley, because that valley has a good name and a bad name for certain things. Like, why not bring some real factor in the valley so that people start to love it again, because it's kind of getting a little bit of bad name also. So
Mhm.
was all those things together, trying to bring people together, self-sustainable community. If we have one, two, few in this country. If we see Naxalites, they live in a self-sustainable community. They are in the forest, in the jungles, and they are living like this. But it's a very bad. I mean, for a civilized people, it's a very bad example to talk about Naxalites living in a self-sustainable community. For example, Oroville is one of the places as well, which is a self-sustainable community. And I
Absolutely.
think we can have plenty of these places, because a lot of us, a lot of youngsters, old people, different people, artists, farmers, people who are close to agriculture, spiritualists, healers, uh, different kind of people in this world want to live in these communities all over, and want to feel that connection and that feeling that we used to have few years ago, which is getting lost slowly. So the plan was to keep that feeling, bring it alive one more time, if not in the whole village to begin with, but in one house, and then make it connected with house to house people who are in the travel industry, or running hostels and guest houses, and come together and we make one big community together. Go and eat in another hostel at the same time because he likes the food there more, and yet in the same
Mhm.
moment contribute with the farmlands and with grazing of the cows. And there are many things that people can do, like you guys we learned about how to recycle plastic and make bricks, and we wanted to do something like this, but you know how things are in Himachal Pradesh, and it's a bit complicated.
True, true. I completely agree because this was also one of the experiences that I had was, because of the strong sense of competition and to carve out basically a niche for themselves. Often the needs for the environment often gets overlooked. And in Kalga, there was this practice. I mean, I don't know if it still goes on. Is people just burn the plastic instead of doing something with it? They just throw it away or burn it, which is basically even worse for their own health and the environment. So that was another thing I was also trying to, or we were trying to, explain to the some of the villages. But then that's how it works. It takes small steps, but a long time for an awareness to come across. So, but it's a very vicious problem, I believe, because at the same time, they also say like, what do I do with the plastic? Then you have to have a system of taking care of it, a logistics of transporting it to another place, and that is another problem because to get garbage out of the mountains, that's not an easy task. That's basically an uphill task, quite literally sometimes. You know.
That's true.
So yeah, but
Carrying
tell
it
me,
around, picking it up.
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying carrying it from one place to another, picking it up from everywhere, collecting it, putting it in one place with not so much support locally, because for them it's like everyday routine. No, for us we are like really hardcore activist people who want to do something for the environment.
Mhm.
For them, they're regular people. They're like, oh, people throw it in Delhi, people throw it in Punjab, people throw it in Buntar, people throw it in Kasol. We can throw it in our village also. It doesn't matter.
Exactly,
Nobody
exactly.
cares about picking it
So
up.
it's basically a wrong example has been set for them as well. They see, and I have been asked this question, like, you people from city, like, you create the problem first, and then you come here and then you tell us, like, to clean up this mess. Like, how fair is that? Why don't you go to the cities and do that? Like, then, like, the rebuttal entirely changes, because that's the problem. Because it's in cities, it is much more difficult, I believe, to get people to understand the importance of nature, and then, to change their ways. But in the villages, on the other hand, people show more willingness to change and take an action, or to be more proactive. Only a proper sense of incentive or a sense of benefit should be created for them. Like, they should understand why it is important for them, why they should engage and, waste their time to do this, and how they can be benefited on a short term as well. So yeah, I guess, like, there's a lot of factors that comes to the picture when you engage people like that. And especially when people who are always do not have a lot of free time on their hands, and, they are engaged in field work, and they're engaged in their household work, and, it's a day to day thing for them to earn the money. So they cannot look beyond the fact that they tomorrow they have to give that amount, x amount of time, to earn the money for the household, and not for, doing something for the environment, for which they might or might not get a benefit someday, or someday later, or a few years later, or down the line, something like that. So that's a long term commitment, so it gets over focused by the short term needs for economy, I guess.
Yeah, I think you are right. As the lifespan of human beings getting shorter, their consciousness towards the nature is going away. They're like, oh, I need to do more things than take care of my surroundings. Who cares about the surroundings and everything around me? I just need to have a bigger car, so that everybody around me can see what I have, and I can just walk around with that confidence and feel like, yo, I am the guy in the village, or I'm the guy in my town or in my block. This is where we are all losing the real path, the real kind of realization of real life. I mean, in cities, people have all of that now. People have
Yeah.
everything, and they are dying for nature. We come from the city, and we are like, oh fuck, we can't do anything because there are 10 million people or 5 million people in a small area, and a lot of people are from the city who want to take care of the city and do their bit. A lot of people come from outside, and they are from villages, and they don't understand the concept of cleanliness or plastic. Or I think, first of all, for cleanliness, these big companies who produce all this plastic should be made responsible to clean it as well. There is a big lack on the part of the government which has to be addressed somehow. I don't know how they plan to do it, but yes, it caters to a lot of jobs while they're cleaning the plastic through government, servants and people on the street, contractual jobs and stuff like this. But there has to be a major role in educating these people about not throwing their plastic, on the street just like this, even if they're in the mountains. I see you want to drink Bisleri water, a packaged drinking water when a live stream is going in front of you. It's a lack of education clearly. If you would have education, you would never want to drink a packaged drinking water which has been in a bottle for 3 months and there is a fresh flowing river going in front of you. You would want to drink that water. So
Yeah.
there is a really big problem among the people here these days. And we need to make them understand that throwing away, yes, makes you feel cool, that yes, you fucking throw away the bottles in the air, and yeah, you don't have to pick it up, somebody else will come pick it up. But in a way, tomorrow you're gonna eat something, and this plastic is gonna be part of your food because it kind of decomposes in your soil. It's not kind of evaporating in the air or going somewhere. And if I am burning it, it's
Exactly.
evaporating in the air and coming in as a fumes into your breathing also. So try to recycle, upcycle, do something with it, and try to reduce it. But I don't know where are we going with it for now. But everybody is trying really hard. I see a lot of people in Delhi nowadays just throwing it like this, and I'm like, oh man, I want to grab them and tell them not to throw it, but it's just that you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because you can't explain, like, if a person is determined not to listen to logic or reason, then there is nothing that you can do to make the person understand logic or reason. And the logic and the reason being that plastic is, one, harmful for your health, it is harmful for the environment, and you can do much better and even save money by going for alternatives apart from plastic sometimes. So there are options by which you can reduce that impact on the environment. Just have to be mindful, just little mindfulness. Even if you have a packet of or bottled water, right? Just don't throw it in the garbage. I mean, just don't throw it littering anywhere that you want. Don't throw it in the river or in the ocean or in the mountainside. Just be mindful and carry it yourself and discard it at a point where it can be discarded safely. Just this much of mindfulness itself can create so much of an impact. And yet we are, and we have both seen how polluted, the river has become in Himachal sometimes. With all the plastic packets and plastic bottles, floating freely in the Parvati River. It's a sad scene, right?
It's very sad, but we need to, I think, increase awareness among the local people about when they are letting others take it away from their shops. They have to kind of convey a message to them to not just litter it anywhere. Yes, we are making money from you when we are selling this product to you, but please, they have to convey that message to the people and say that please don't pollute my town, don't pollute my village. After you
Absolutely.
consume what you take from the pack, try to put it back in the dustbin. I have a dustbin. There are 10 more dustbins in the village or on the way you will find around you. So try to put these empty wrappers or plastic bottles in those dustbins, because I think there is a lag, because of the lack of the community. If it was one big community, one village, they would care about their village and about their place. This is where the self-sustenance comes into play and the community living comes into play, which if it comes in, you can bring in a lot of small and simple rules to make life comfortable for you and for others, while keeping your areas and your surroundings clean, greener, more healthy, more natural, and with this there is kind of a social gathering that comes together, a social compatibility also happens, wherein people can also impart awareness, knowledge, education of different kinds of what your expertise can be shared among lots of people if
Absolutely.
one initiative takes place properly. Like my plan was to start growing my own vegetables, build a nice garden where we could have like a circus area where people could come and learn lots of things. And there is no paying, there is contribution. You pay, you contribute to the teacher in some way. How you want to contribute, you figure it out. No, I mean, it's between teacher and the student. So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
staying there 3 weeks and you want to learn something from one guy who knows painting and you want to learn painting from time, he's doing 1 hour of volunteering in keeping the village clean or in just teaching, imparting education to people. And it makes a sense of community. And if there is a sense of community, I think there a lot of things get done automatically. You don't even have to try too hard to do them, which is what is lacking. And I wanted to bring it out and inculcate back into the people of the mountains. But when you're an outsider, it's kind of a tricky job to get into somebody's space and try to teach them, because they think, oh, you are stupid. You come from one big city, you have a little bit of money, and you can talk, da, 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 and you're just there to
Yeah.
talk. You don't know what we are, who we are, what kind of competition we live in. So it's kind of, was a shocker for me, but it's been a shocker every year. But when I stayed there last year for a long time, was quite a shocker. But I haven't given up. I would like to still go back and do some more stuff there, or
For sure.
find another place, find another village where there is a sense of community still among the people, and try to build a nice self-sustainable community village, somewhere would be amazing, like Pondicherry, like Auroville. If there could be more places like this in India,
Of
would be
course.
fantastic. Smaller ones, if not big.
Yes, of course. I completely understand. There is a need for everyone to be on the same page on this idea, because everyone has to understand and realize the importance of sustainability and why everyone would benefit from that system to properly respect it and implement that. Otherwise, it would not work, because there would be always someone who would say like, no, this is not working, and people, especially people who owns the place or who are controlling or running the place, if they are not on the same page, it definitely becomes very difficult to have an implementation, a strong implementation process otherwise.
Hmm.
I was about to ask you, specifically about your, the project, sustainability project. What was the vision that you have when you talk about sustainable community? And we are talking about different actions, and also, what do you think is the ideal definition of a sustainable community?
See, I would say when I planned it out and I wanted to start out, my first project was like to create a hostel for like-minded people, who want to come together and live like a family. For me, a self-sustainable community is a one big happy family, happy family of unknown people who have never met before, but they come together and they have a little bit of expertise, a little bit of their talents that they can use to create a beautiful household for every being present in that house was the basic idea. And because we have farmland and we could grow vegetables and we had animals around us and there were lots of eco projects that we could take up, the plan was to do everything slowly, slowly, get into farming, get into eco buildings, get into, grazing animals, helping the local people, creating latest eco technologies if possible. I had some engineer friends who came in and who tried to create some LED lights to just power the streets in the night in the villages, because there is a little bit of problem. There are women still walking in the night when they're coming down, and
Mhm.
yes, we understand it's a problem. So there are small small things that can be addressed, because as the community or as the village grows, the families grows, the number of people grow, you need a little bit of more of facilities for each one of the people. There's something you need to do for the children. There is no playground, so I would wanted to build like a badminton court for the children to come and play together. There is no game that children can play in that village. And same was the thing, few years ago when I was in Kasol. I've been going to that valley for almost 10 years now. So there was no park in Kasol. Now they have a park, they have few swings for the children there, they have a small court where kids can come and play badminton. So all these things are necessary, if you want these children, because somewhere sitting in the city, I am saying, oh, I am an activist and I work for the upliftment of the children and I believe in the empowerment of the woman. But when I'm there in the mountains, if I don't do anything, somewhere you feel like, oh, I am kind of shallow. But the truth is, you are not shallow. There is a system that has to, that you have to go through, and the system is a bit complicated process. So the plan was to build something for a small bunch of people, and this small bunch of people could have become the ambassadors and influencers, and we could have spread it across one village to another village to all the 70 villages which are there in the valley. That was the like actual plan, to take it slowly over the 20 years, build it into a big community, have one house in every village, and there are people volunteering and helping the local villages with some things, smaller things, not bigger things, just smaller things, and just creating a sense of living in a community and a self-sustainable community. Corona kind of screwed everything up,
Yeah,
lots of things have turned around in last few months. And I also feel like I've been like, hit by a car and thrown off the road, and I don't know where I am right now. So the plan is to drag yourself back on the road again and kind of stand up and then start the whole thing again. But that's
yeah,
the plan, go slowly, slowly. Just take one house at a time, build influencers, build in like get
absolutely,
put
absolutely,
together a team of ambassadors. That's the whole
absolutely.
ideology.
All you need is a group of like-minded people with a common motive and a little bit of time, obviously, and patience.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like, and it takes forever because changes like these take forever. And I'm sure you are also you know that, right? Because you have been working for this for some time, and you know that slowly getting people to trust and to form that bond and to form that network. Most importantly, that's a time-consuming process sometimes.
That's true. Absolutely.
And
That's the most
कोरोना का
difficult
बारे
job.
में तो बोल ही मत यार. Like it just screwed everything all over, like all over the globe. our work has also completely gotten stranded off. We could not go to so many projects. We could not complete so many projects because of this COVID situation. We were stuck in Meghalaya for many months. Thankfully, we were able to, get engaged in 3 or 4 projects. But then again, we could not complete any of them completely. Like they were like all of them. They were at the final stage or one stage or the other, but it was not like completely finished off or at an exhibition. We could not do that, so like that sucks. And probably when the entire thing blows over, we can finish up where we started. you know
Yeah, all the best for that, huh?
Thanks, man.
I hope
And
things
all the
go
best to you,
smooth.
brother, also. Just hit it once you do again, like, and I wish you all the best to start an amazing community, and I will visit soon also. I'm
Yeah,
definitely going to visit you.
now I'm planning to find one empty land and encroach it and build a community there, So build it from scratch that nothing exists, so you can create your own system slowly there. Because in an
Absolutely,
existing
absolutely.
system, to bring a sense of community, it happens, but it happens very slowly. It takes a while. I mean, I
Yeah.
could get hold of few people in the village who were ready to come together and do things. There were some youngsters and stuff like this who were like happy. Yes, we
Mhm.
could do some things together. But to change the mind of old people who have gone through a lot in their lives, it's a kind of a tough thing. With the youngsters, you can still, they say, no, if you find them young, you can change them faster. If the older people get, it's difficult to change them and do things to them. So now the plan is to find an empty land and put one tent and then put a board saying, hello, free invitation, join the community. And if there are people watching us right now, they should be, they are most welcome to come and join us there.
Oh yeah, please,
Would be
please.
nice.
Yes, anyone who's watching this, if you go to Himachal, that's the most beautiful place, and camping out is the perfect thing, right? Like, I don't think like if anyone needs to have a luxurious accommodation when there's nice camping, just on the side of the river, and you can listen to the river and you can enjoy the nature even better.
I agree. That's absolutely true. अगर नेचर है तो तुम्हें लग्जरी क्यों चाहिए नेचर से ज्यादा लग्जरी कुछ है
That
नहीं
is
यू
the
गो टू ऑल
luxury.
दिस बिग रिजॉर्ट्स मैन दे ऑल दे आर सेलिंग इज नेचर इट्स जस्ट
Exactly,
मोर ट्रिम्ड
exactly.
it's like how my
Imagine,
hair and
imagine.
your hair, you are mountain man and I am a resort guy right now, like clean beard. You are like full wild. I am just more trimmed. That's
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Or imagine this, man, like you go to the Himalayas, and you're trekking through the Himalayas, and you need a bottled water which says Himalayan water instead of having the Himalayan water straight from the stream,
I agree. It's the
right?
funniest thing.
That's the
It's
funniest
the
thing
funniest
ever.
thing ever. Yeah,
But
it's
then
like the
again, like,
irony of life. What you have, you are still paying for it. What you have in abundance and you're paying for it.
paying for it.
I don't know how to fill in the blank there. You must
Comprehend
be
that.
rich or you must be stupid.
Dude,
How
very
to
very
put it
soon
out.
we'd also have to buy oxygen. Who knows? We might be in that stage, or we might come to a stage where we might have to start buying oxygen too.
It's happening
So
in Delhi.
these people will be
There are
more
these
prepared.
bars.
Now people
There
will
are
be
these
more prepared.
oxygen bars in Delhi now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So it will be everywhere. Pollution spreads. It will not be contained by a territory or a state. Pollution spreads, and that's what's going to happen. And we are heading very fast towards a situation like that, where we have to buy everything that is supposed to be, available for free and in abundance. We have to pay a huge price for that.
I agree. It's you can't change it. But good part is there is this new technology coming out. We are moving towards more greener technology to fight pollution. The e-rickshaws and the e-bikes and the e-cars. The government is pushing e-mobility nowadays.
Yeah,
I hope in next 10 years we'll be able to breathe more fresher air. It
yeah,
would be nice. There will be different particles in the air. They won't be as much of CO2 or
absolutely. Yeah.
carbon monoxide that's there in the nature these days. But we will have something for sure, lithium or carbon footprints of some kind. But at least there will be less particles in the air if this e-mobility takes off properly. I was thinking of doing something with that also in Delhi, but I don't know if Delhi is my city to work or not because
Yeah,
I
there's this
worked here and
happiness of
I've
the
been out
calling.
and now I'm back and I'm like, ah man, should I be here? Should I do something here or should I find a way out and go back to the mountains or to the beaches and do something there? So there are still things I want to work with. I am a nature freak and I want to, do something for the nature, for the country, for the people, for my city. This Delhi, this city has given me everything. What I am today is because of this city and the people of the city, my family, everybody. So I want to do something back, but everything problem is we live in like same. I am also kind of little bit impatient. Like the people in the mountains, they're like, we don't care. Let's throw the wrapper and just run to the next thing to play with. It's the
Yeah,
same. Like okay, who'll wait for the else, and then I come back to it later on, and we do e-revolution when the time comes to do it.
true,
So
man.
yes, slowly,
Yeah, man.
but yes, there are so many
Things
things.
take time, and personally, I feel that the effort that is needed for cities is much bigger. And at least in cities, there is an infrastructure, there is a municipality, there's a corporation. At least they are doing some part, and there's something that is going on. But in the rural places, in the remote places, the problem is actually even worse because there is no infrastructure for disposing garbage or processing garbage or waste, and then recycling them. Those things are not there. So that personally, I feel that the situation needs to be focused there. In those places, the need for support and need for a solution is a little stronger because of the lack of an infrastructure, in my opinion, at least.
I feel there is a kind of a lag between the people and the government. If the government is not able to perform its job properly, the people have to take onus for the job.
Yeah, true,
There
true.
hasn't been any infrastructure in those areas for a very long time. And if the people of those areas keep relying on the government, then they are kind of letting their own people or outsiders come and ruin their space. They have to take a stand somewhere and they say, okay, until the government comes in full fledged, we will try to protect our space. When the government comes, they will come and clean it. But they have to take the responsibility and onus and say, okay, it's our responsibility to protect our space. If not clean it or if not maintain it the way it should be maintained, at least we can just try to protect it from outsiders and people who are coming there and spreading the filth. Somebody has to take the step, big step. And I see it happening from outsiders. Like you come from another place, I come from another place. There is Healing Himalayas, one community, not really community, but a NGO come community. They are trying to build a community also now. They were there, and there was Karam Yatri, which was an art community which comes every year. These are all outsiders. They are the people who are making an effort to bring changes to these places. So locals are kind of helping them in building infrastructure, but I would be very happy to see locals doing that and outsiders coming in to volunteer and say, hey, yes, oh wow, you are
Yeah,
doing this and I want to help you and I have this idea and I want to help you take it to the next level. Because maybe I have more access to technology in my city which you lack here, and we could create something to just cut garbage into small pieces. There are machines like this. All you need is these cutters nowadays, which are not very
absolutely.
difficult to build also. And a lot of these children of these villagers are engineers. They're going to big cities to learn and educate themselves. They can come back and do things.
Absolutely.
Would be nice to see it. It would be awesome to see something like this
True,
happening
true,
from
true.
their own selves rather than we outsiders go there and push them to do it and then get pushed out after some time.
Absolutely. That's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling. And actually, I agree. Like, and if there is an onus from their end, it would be at least a nice thing for a change to feel like, okay, at least we'll join them instead of we initiating it.
Yeah,
It would be us joining their effort, and trying to do something about it. That would be really nice to see, a good positive sign to see. Hopefully, probably in the future, now with more empowered and educated youth, something like that might happen. I'm looking forward to see such a day, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen in some time, in few years, as because everything is a trend, and we are getting
Yeah,
into a trend of kind of recreating our own spaces. Everybody who grows up wants to recreate their own space and keep their spaces as per their whims and fancies. And these young people would also want someday to have their farmlands beautiful and clean and water streams passing through like it used to be before. I mean, actually there is not so much of problems. These problems are still controllable.
yeah,
Before it
true.
gets out of hand and the government has to interfere, it's going to be even more problematic for the people of the village when the government comes in.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if they manage it themselves, I think it would be more fantastic, and it would be nice to see local heroes propping up in every village and taking care
ab-
of their villages.
absolutely.
And we could just go there and hang around with them, say hello, how are you? Oh yes, we were so happy. We've been coming here 20 years in your valley, and now we see somebody standing up
I,
for
I
your
wish.
standing up for the village and the valley.
Yeah, man. I wish, I could see something like that happening very soon. That would make me immensely, immensely happy. And I'd gladly join in to that effort and share with all my knowledge and experience, whatever I have or however I can help. I would be more than happy to engage in that and be a part of it or help for its improvement. Uh,
Yeah,
Now,
let's
speaking
go
of
back
this,
next year.
yeah, man. Let's do that. We have to do something, man. Let's join hands and create something which is better for everybody. You know. And speaking of this, there's one last question I would like to ask you, Karan. Is that if there is one thing that you would like to recommend to others who would want to initiate a similar endeavor like yours, what would your recommendation be?
I would say one, be very, very, very patient. Take it easy. Don't rush into building something which impacts lives, because it doesn't happen overnight. If you want to impact one life, a student gives a year or teacher gives a year to a student to pass through the exams. Similarly, if you want to make an impact into one person's life, it takes time for them to change, for you to change them, for you to evolve while you're trying to teach them something. So it's a process. So it happens slowly, slowly. Also have a motive, secondly, I would say, of which direction you are taking. What do you want to do? Never get disappointed, because it's a path where the failure ratio of failure is 99 is to 1. So it's like
Yeah,
becoming Einstein. When you will succeed, the world will know you. You won't have to do anything else. And spread love. You have to have a lot of humility inside you if you want to do something. Don't just do it for the heck of doing it. Don't do it for the people. Don't do it for, how do you say, the namesake, or to be popular, or to prove yourself, or to anybody. Just do it with all your love, as much you have inside you, and just keep sharing, and never stop it, I would say. Even if people discourage you, like I kind of feel sometimes discouraged also, because there wasn't a full support of how I was going, but this is what made me a more patient man also. And I realize now, if I could, I would love to open 20 communities like this. It's just that now I realize, before I had less money and I was trying to figure out if we could do without money. But with Corona, I realize if things like this happen, you lose your ship kind of sinks, and then it's difficult for people to even remember you, kind of, because when a sunken ship is mostly not remembered. So
exactly.
it's nice to have a little bit of funding, so you can keep, even if you're not present yourself, you can have volunteers being there and you can keep funding these projects. Because when you put in effort for 1 year and 2 year, and you have to let go of some reasons, whether it's financial or personal or like a pandemic related issues and stuff like this, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking. You feel like, oh man, I was close. I could have done something more and more, but a gap of 1 year kind of takes everything back to the old circle in the beginning. So, people miss the whole point again. You have to re-educate them in a
Again,
certain
exactly,
way.
exactly.
And things like pandemic, which kind of send people, you know, chills and thrills through the heart of people. People have kind of lost their sense of community. Everybody became very Atmanirbhar. So now we have to reignite the fire of community slowly, slowly as the
True, true.
corona subsides.
Patience, motivation, and love, right?
Very
Patience,
important.
motivation, and love. I guess it's not only just for someone who would like to build a new community, but also for the entire scenario of life itself. These three things are
That's
important to have sustainability overall in our lives, in our a balance in our life.
it's true. Yes, yes. For the balance, you need these things for sure. For everything,
Um,
a regular life, if you have these qualities, then life is more chill, more easy. But in a community, when you try to go out there and build a self-sustainable community, there is this, Krantikari inside you who wants to do a lot of things like, yeah, I will bring the fucking change in this world and I will do it by myself, whether somebody is around me or not. It's like being Mahatma Gandhi, I will walk the path whether somebody else is there or not. So I would say keep that Josh, but
but with
just
patience.
be patient with people because
Yeah,
people
yeah,
don't come from the same psychology as you do. So it's not easy for them to understand your perspective and where you build this perspective from. And they will build the same perspective as they understand and get aware of what you're trying to say.
absolutely. So the result would speak for itself once it is done. Then someone would get a better understanding of what the idea was about, and people will start following in.
Yes.
Nicely said, man. Thank you so much, Karan, for giving me the time and having this wonderful discussion. I wish you all the best. I wish, first of all, like for all of our sake, I wish that the situation gets better and we get on to our work, as fast as possible. And you go ahead, move to 100 different places, set up 100 different communities and more. Wherever you go, you spread awareness and love and joy and happiness with people. So thank you so much for this for the session, bro.
Thank you so much, Amit. It's so nice to speak to you and to see you
Same
after
here.
so
It
long.
was
I
my
feel like
pleasure.
hugging you, I feel like we're already
Same
hugging
here.
each other. I'm
From a
like,
distance.
yeah. We have to catch up very soon, man. As soon as this corona goes, let's meet in Oroville. We are talking about communities,
We
self-sustainable
could do that.
communities. We have to catch up there. Maybe go there,
We could do that.
see what we can both learn from there. I want to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been there, I think probably. I haven't been,
No,
so
no,
maybe we
I
could
haven't.
go
I,
there.
I was in Chennai. I was planning to go to Oroville, but I could not take out the time between the projects and all. So that is one wish that is yet unfulfilled. So who knows? Maybe that was unfulfilled because we had to go there later on after the COVID situation. So let's make that
Yeah, I
happen.
think we should do
Yeah.
this. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. Cool,
All right,
bro.
man.
All the best for your endeavors.
Same
Have
to
a
you, brother.
good time. Happy Dashera. Happy
Same to
Diwali.
you.
Happy New Year.
Same to
Everything.
you.
Huh?
All right, brother. Take care.
All right. Love you. Bye bye.
All right. Love you too, brother. Bye. Bye. All right, guys. So this was today's session of GreenAnimate. If you like the sessions that we do and the content that we post, please do keep following us and let us know what we can do to make this better. Keep sharing the ideas and knowledge, not just in terms of the video, but also in terms of the knowledge and information itself. Together, let us create a world, an environment which is healthier for all of us and also for all other species. Thank you so much for being with us, and please keep following us for next video. Bye bye.